Hello everyone, welcome to PRATHAM Test Prep YouTube channel. I am Ashish Bhargav and welcome to daily news analysis that we do from Monday to Friday at sharp 11:30 am. But today there was some issues from our side, so that we are sorry for this. And in this newspaper analysis, we discuss about the Hindu Indian Express majorly because most of the questions that are fetched from the Hindu Indian Express. And as we know that is important news we have covered in this session. In this session, majorly we discuss about national news, international news, economy-based news, sports-based news, science and tech, personal news, summits and conference, miscellaneous, and we have to understand that we also discuss about Supreme Court verdict, which is very important, right? Especially for the law entrance exam, if you are preparing for CLAT, if you are preparing for AILET, you are preparing for we can say a SLAT, Jamia law entrance exam. So that is very important. If you haven't keep an eye on the newspaper analysis, because most of the current affairs question they are fetched from the newspaper, right? And we also discuss about the state initiative, which is very important. And here is the quote of the day: if your voice is high, only a few people will hear. If your thought is high, then many people will listen. And to inculcate this thought process, what exactly you need to do, you have to develop such kind of temperament to read the newspaper. And just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. That is quote of Dalai Lama. And study hard, no matter if it seems impossible, no matter if it takes time, no matter if you have to up all night. Just remember that the feeling of success is the best thing in the entire world. And questions of the day, so at the end of the session we'll discuss about 5 questions which is very essential for you. Now here is the very first news: INS Vagir introduced into Navy. So I welcome each and everyone here, and I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm Ashish Bhargav. I welcome each and everyone, and tomorrow is, we can say, Republic Day, right? So wish you best of luck everyone. And just a second, here it is. So we can say about, like, if you talk about INS Vagir inducted into Navy stealth class submarine, will serve as a potent deterrent of adversaries. INS Vagir is a 5th stealth Scorpion class submarine, was commissioned into Navy on, that was on Monday, and commissioning ceremony took place at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai. So where is Naval Dockyard? That is in Mumbai, as you can see in this picture. So that was the Navy chief. Who is the Navy chief? That is, we can say, is Administration R. Hari. That is, R. Hari Kumar is a Navy chief. So 6 Scorpion class submarine is being built in India by Mazgong Dock Shipyard Limited, Mumbai, under collaboration with MS Naval Group, France, under technology transfer agreement. So Vagir was launched in November 12, 2020 under Project 75. Make sure that Vagir was launched in November 12, 2020 under Project 75 or P75, and was delivered to Navy on December 20th last year. Only the important takeaways for the exam you need to remember. Now, immune imprinting. So what exactly it is? Immune imprinting basically is, can say that, like, it's a tendency of the body to repeat its immune response based on the first variant encountered through infection or vaccination when it comes to across a newer or slightly different variant of the same pathogens, which means once we handshake to one person to another person, that we are somehow that transmitting the pathogens. So since last September, countries like the UK and US have rolled out variant specific or a bivalent booster against the coronavirus, and the phenomenon was first observed, that was in the year of 1947. So if there is some kind of any study, you must need to give an eye what was the background, right? That gives you the immense idea, like how the questions have been framed in the CLAT and AILET exam, right? So the phenomenon was first observed in 1947. What phenomenon? Immune printing we are talking about. So as per the journal Nature, when scientists noticed that those who had previously been infected by flu and were then vaccinated against the, we can say, current circulating variant, produce antibodies against the first strain they had encountered. So how it circumvent? Some scientists have said the nasal vaccines might be better at preventing infections than injected one, and these things we have discussed in the newspaper analysis also, they believe the mucous membrane, mucus कहाँ पे होता है बेटा, आपका ये नाक जो nose है ना, उसके बीच में आपको दो holes होते हैं, वो हमारा mucus होता है. So mucous membranes would create a stronger protection because this, as we know that despite carrying some imprint of past exposure, so once the COVID-19, as we know about it, that was entered into the nasal, that's why nasal vaccine was, if that part is very we can say that mucous membrane, if having stronger membrane, so that will not allow to enter the COVID virus. Now moving third one article is COP27 raise the pitch for urgent climate action. COP27 conference and parties. COP क्या होता है? COP बेटा आपका होता है COP27. COP27 and last week in Egypt, कहाँ पे हुई थी ये? इजिप्ट में हुई थी. So first is Egypt and we can say इसी के हमारे president is the chief guest for tomorrow Republic Day. Keep in mind. नाम बताओ कोई भी comment section में, who is the chief guest which is Egypt president, नाम क्या है उनका? So despite the many challenges and divergence of views, members countries rose to the occasion, with COP27 being branded as the COP for implementation. Significant breakthrough were achieved on key issues, the primary being the agreement on loss and damage funding, adaptation, and encouraging mitigation and work programs. So we have many articles about the COP27 we have discussed earlier. So this year climate meet was branded as the COP for the implementation, and we can say significant breakthroughs were achieved on climate action, including mitigation, adaptation, capacity building. So India found its voice as a leader of the developing world and is contributing to the fight. So it urged parties, which is Conference of Party, to adopt a transformational approach to enhancing capacity, strengthening resilience, and reducing vulnerability to the climate crisis. It also urged developed countries to urgently and significantly scale up their provision of climate finance technology, right? So this is all about the crux. Main things you need to keep in mind is that COP27, where it was, that was in Egypt, which is the president. Egypt president. Now, ancient port city of Pompuhar traced under sea claim research. A huge harbour, lighthouse and settlement formed part of the port city. The present day Pompulam in Tamil Nadu, Mayiladuthurai district, was once a flourishing port known as Kaviliportinam. That was, we can see here, it is a Kailapattinam Kodakal, the part of, we can say, Tamil Nadu, right? And here is Thongi Angukulam, as we can see it here in the map, right? So sometimes it will ask you the ancient port city Pompular is which state. The answer would be Tamil Nadu. Medicom led panel to probe wrestler charges. So it will investigate allegation, right, against Wrestling Federation of India president and submit a report within the month. Till then, the committee will carry out WFI day-to-day work. So Union Sports Minister, who is Anurag Thakur, so cabinet minister name need to be remembered. So the announcement of oversight committee headed by MC Maricom comes a week after wrestler leveled allegation against Wrestling Federation of India chief, that is called Brijbhushan Sharan Singh. So what it happens? If you go to the timeline, so January 18th, wrestler being protested at Jantar Mantar in New Delhi, it resulted Sport Ministry sent a notice to WFI, Wrestler Federation Committee, seeking explanation. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur meets wrestler, assured that charges would be looked into, and protest called off, and WFI replies to notice reject all allegations. So Sports Ministry asked WFI Executive Committee to abstain from activities the federation, because this will, not strengthen our country's sports and spirit of the team. Now, moving further, is 2 students in Kerala infected with Norovirus. How many virus is going to find it out? We can say after struggling a COVID, and then after that the mini virus was there. So Norovirus infection was confirmed in 2 schools of children in Ernakulam districts. About Norovirus, if you talk about, it's a group of viruses that leads to gastrointestinal illness. It causes inflammation of the lining of the stomach and intestine, in addition to severe vomiting and diarrhea. So Norovirus is resistant to many disinfectants and can heat up to 60 degrees. Therefore, merely steaming food or chlorinating water does not kill the virus. The virus can also survive many common hand sanitizer, and transmission is that a person can be infected with different varieties of norovirus several times in their lives. 21 Andaman Island named after Paramveer Chakra awardee. Prime Minister Modi on Monday named 21st largest unnamed island in the Andaman and Nicobar after 21st Paramveer Chakra award. We have to know the information about Andaman Island and Paramveer Chakra awardee. So if you talk about Andaman and Nicobar Island, just a second. The Andaman and Nicobar Island is a union territory of India. This territory is known as Andaman and Nicobar Island or ANI. It is located in the Indian Ocean in the southern reaches of the Bay of Bengal nearer to Indonesia and Thailand. This comprises of two island groups, the Andaman Island and the Nicobar Island, which separates the Andaman Sea to the east and the Indian Ocean. These two groups are separated by the 10-degree north parallel. The Andamans lying to the north of latitude and the Nicobars to the south. And the capital of this territory is the Andaman Seas, Andamanese town of the Port Blair. Hindi and English are the official language of the island. Bengali is the dominant and most spoken language, with 26% of the population speaking Bengali, where in Andaman and Nicobar Island. This is a very fact, 26% of the population is speaking Bengali. Now we talk about Gallantry Award. Post-independence, first three Gallantry Award, namely Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra and Veer Chakra, was instituted by the Government of India on January 26, 1950, which were deemed to have effect from August 15, 1947. So thereafter, other three Gallantry Award, the Ashok Chakra Class 1, Ashok Chakra 2nd, Ashok Chakra 3rd, were instituted in 1952, which were deemed to have effect from August 15, 1947. And these awards were renamed as Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra respectively in January 1967. So how the people are eligible for this award? So all the officers of all ranks of the Army, Navy and Air Force, or any of these reserve force, territorial army and any other lawfully constituted armed force. Wartime highest gallantry awards, Paramveer Chakra. So it is India's highest military decoration award for displaying distinguished act of valor during wartime, whether on land, at sea or in the air. If we talk about Mahavir Chakra, it is the second highest gallantry award for acts of conspicuous gallantry in the presence of the enemy, whether on land or sea in the air. If we talk about Veer Chakra, so it is the highest third wartime gallantry award after Paramveer and Mahavir Chakra. So this one already we have discussed, INS Vagir. INS Vagir was launched into water on November 12, 2020 and commenced sea trial on February 1, 2020. This thing I think we have already discussed. Next is media body against proposal to empower PIB fact check unit. PIB, which means Press Information Bureau. So this is a government handling online agency which is responsible for all the program and implementation that was done by the Government of India. So fake news, a draft committee for the IT rules empowers PIB to take down fake news. In the Indian Ministry of Electronics and IT, MIT has recently introduced a new draft of amendments to the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines of Digital Media Ethics Rules 2021. So the draft proposal and any pieces of news identified as fake by the fact-checking unit of the Press Information Bureau will not be allowed on online intermediary. So PIB is the central nodal agency for sharing news updates. What is fake news and law to punish offenders? So if we talk about in our country, meaning of fake news means that refer to those news stories that are false, fabricated with you can say no very variable facts, source of course. And types of fake news, we can say satire or we can say parody, no intention to cause harm, misleading contents, imposter content. What are the law in our country? What kind of laws to control effect of the fake news? The Information Technology Act 2008, the offence related to electronic communication shall be punished under section 66D of the IT Act. Right? Now, needed a new approach to data protection for minors. So, how freely should Indian teenagers access to the internet? And what responsibility do platforms have towards the minor users? So in this article, the crux of that we can say, the first, instead of incentivizing online platform to proactively build safer and better services for the minors, bill relies on the parent to grant consent on behalf of their child in all cases. In a country with low digital literacy, if you talk about our country, where parents in fact often rely on their children who are digital native to help them navigate the internet, this is an ineffective approach to keep children safe online. What can the second we can say? It does not take into account the best interest of the child, a standard originating in the Convention of Rights of Child 1989, which India is a signatory, right? So India को अब failed करना चाहिए in this standard in laws such as Commissions for Protection of Child Rights Act 2005 and Right to Children of Free to Compulsory Education Act 2009 and Protection Child from Sexual Offences, which is called POXO Act 2012. So there are three acts need to be remembered. And we can say, however, it has not been applied to the issue of data protection. The bill does not factor in how teenagers use various internet platforms for self-expression and personal development, and how central it is to the experience of adolescents these days, from taking music lessons to preparing for examination to performing communities with people of similar world views. This is all about the article S. Now, just a second. Yeah. So, digital personal data protection bill, which we have discussed. 7 principles. The first, usage of personal data by organization must be done in manner that is lawful, fair to the individual concerned about, and transparent to individuals. Second, personal data must only be used for the purpose for which it was collected. The third principle talks to data minimization. The fourth principle puts an emphasis on data accuracy when it comes to collection. The fifth principle talks of how personal data that is collected cannot be stored perpetually by default, and storage should be limited to a fixed duration. And here is the next news, is an India chapter of foreign university. So National Education Policy provided the selected university that those are among the top universities in the world will be facilitated to the operate in India. A legislative framework facilitating with entry will be put in place, and such universities will be given special dispensation regarding regulatory governance and content norms on par with the autonomous institution in India. Even though national education policy favored a legislative framework, the idea is being executed through a regulatory route of University Grants Commission. Right. So now moving to the next one. Here we can see data norms announced by the UGC for foreign university. University Grant Commission has announced draft norms for the facilitating foreign university and education institution to set up campuses in the India, which allow them autonomy in decision making. And what is today's article about UGC purpose, objective, draft norms with respect to foreign university. About University Grants Commission. The University Grants Commission of India, statutory body under the provision of UGC Act 1956. It is responsible for coordination, determination and maintenance of a standard of higher education. And the last one is the basic structure of the constitution. Many times we have discussed about that there is a fight of, we can say, at the Keshwandi Bharati versus State of Kerala, that last session that we have discussed in the previous lecture, previous newspaper analysis also. Now it's time to, as we know that Vice President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, questioned the landmark Supreme Court judgment that evolved the doctrine of basic structure. And he asks if the judiciary can put fetters on the parliamentary powers to amend the constitution and frame laws in democratic nation. So Keshwandi Bharati case origin, meaning, components, as we can say, 1973. Keshwandi Bharati case was a state of Kerala. Also known as Keshwandi Bharati judgment was a landmark decision of the Supreme Court that outlined the basic structure doctrine of Indian Constitution. Now it's time to question of the day. Very first, Maghi Mela, recently seen in the news, is associated with Buddhist, Jain, Sikhs and Parsis. Magh, we can say the Hindi name of the month of, we can say, January. So the festival of C option. Maghi Mela has been celebrated on the city of Sri Mukteswar Sahib in Punjab for centuries in memory of 40th Sikh warrior who killed fighting in the Mughals in the Battle of Khidrana in 1705. It was after this battle this Khidrana was named Muktaswar or Pool of the Liberation. And over the years, political interference became the main attraction in this Mela, and the often set to political tone of for the state since 2018. However, there have been attempts to reduce the number of conference and depolitize the festival. Second one. Exoplanets are planets that orbit other stars and are beyond our solar system. Exoplanets can be a gas giant bigger than Jupiter or as small and rocky as Earth. One of the objectives of National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA) lucky mission is to be discover new exoplanets, and that lucky mission we have discussed already. So obviously the answer would be here B option. National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA) announced that James Webb Space Telescope that was discovered its first new exoplanets. Researchers have labeled the planet as LHS 475b, and it's roughly the same size as Earth. So if you talk about NASA first mission to explore the Jupiter Trojan asteroids, and it's a solar powered mission, right? This is called a lucky mission. In recent years, which are the following are the largest lender in the education loan sector in India? Private banks, public sector banks, regional rural banks and cooperative banks. बहुत अच्छा सवाल है और आपको जवाब भी उसी अंदाज में देना होगा कि recent years में largest lenders कौन है education loan sectors in India. So B option है. अब क्यों है? Public sector के banks. So low value education loans up to 7.5 lakhs constitute a bulk of the defaulters in the education loan portfolio of banks. Data on non-performing assets, and we see non-performing assets की वजह से bank is going to merge. In education loans and public sector banks obtained through the Right to Information Act show that default rate is much lower to loans disbursed to students in premier institutes as compared to those in secondary institute. And public sector banks are the largest lender in the education loan sector and have a market share of about 91%, and regional rural banks and private banks constitute the remaining 9% of the market. Fourth one, World Social Report 2023 is released by International Labour Organization, United Nations Children's Fund, United Nations Development Program and UNDESA. So answer would be D option. United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, UNDESA, published the World Social Report 2023 with the theme Leaving No One Behind the Aging World. And the last question, Varuna 2023 is a bilateral naval exercise between India and which country? So answer would be here D option. 21st edition of bilateral naval exercise between India and France exercise Varuna commenced on the western seaboard, while the bilateral exercise between the two navies was initiated in 1993. It was christened as Varuna in 2001 and has become a hallmark of India-France strategic bilateral relationship. The exercise facilitates operational level interaction between the two navies to foster mutual cooperation for good order at sea, underscoring the shared commitment of both nations to security, safety and freedom of the global maritime commons. Right? So this is all about the session, student, and I hope you enjoyed the session a lot. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section, and please share this video to your friends and family group. Why I'm telling you the friends and family group? Because everyone should aware, being a aware citizen of our country, that what is happening around us, right? So, and make sure if you are new in this channel, please subscribe our YouTube channel and do not forget to press the bell icon so you will get the notification of all the Pratham Test Prep mentors. Thank you so much for joining with us. We'll meet you the next YouTube session. Bye bye and take care. अपना ख्याल रखें, सुरक्षित रहें. Thank you so much for joining with us once again. Thank you.